Children, Chandragupta Maurya was supported by a man, a wise man named Chanakya. Or Kautilya. And the Chanakya's ideas, which were written in a book named Arthashastra. So children, our next topic is ruling an empire. So as Mauryan Empire was so large, so different parts of the empire were ruled differently. Number 1, Patliputra were under the direct control of the emperor. Okay, and other areas and provinces were under the direct control of the provincial capitals Takshila and Ujjain. So now let us read one by one. First of all, ruling in Patliputra. Patliputra was under the direct control of the emperor. Many officials, number 1, many officials were appointed to collect taxes from farmers, herders, craftspersons and traders, those who lived in villages and towns. Officials were also punished those who disobeyed the orders. Many of these officials were given salaries also. Our next topic is ruling in other areas and provinces which directly under the control of the provincial capitals. The name of the capitals was Takshila and Ujjain. There was some amount of control from Patliputra, and royal princes were often sent as governors, but local customs local customs and rules were also followed. Our next topic is ruling in between areas. Our next topic is ruling in between areas. There were vast areas between these centers. For example, Mauryas tried to control roads and rivers, which were important for transport. They collect resources. They collect resources as tax and tribute. For example, Northwest was important for blankets, as well as Southwest as well as southern part of India, which was important for precious stones and gold also. Our next topic is ruling with other people. Emperors appointed messengers. Emperors appointed messengers, spies who kept a watch on the officials, which were appointed by an emperor. Many royal families and ministers. Many royal families and ministers were there who helped the emperor in supervising everything. Okay? Ruling with other people. In this topic, rulers appointed messengers and spies also. Many royal families and ministers were also there who helped the emperor in supervising everything. Our next topic is, what is the difference between tax and tribute? What is the difference between tax and tribute? So children, tax which were collected on which were collected on regular basis. Which were collected on regular basis means taxes. They were at that time, taxes were fixed. Clear? Means what had to paid, when it had to paid, how much had to paid. While tribute was collected as and when it was possible. Okay, means tribute was not fixed at that time. Tax collected on regular basis, and at that time taxes were fixed. While tributes were collected as when it was possible, means tribute was not fixed. A variety of things given as a tribute to the king. Children, our next topic is ruling fortified regions. Ruling forested regions. Ruling forested regions. Okay. There were also forested regions. People living in these areas were more or less independent. Okay? For example, people living in forested areas, they provide elephant, timber, wax, honey, as many other things. Okay, to the Mauryan officials. Now, we are reading about case study. A true account description of this empire given by a person, Megasthenes. The name of the person is Megasthenes. Megasthenes was an ambassador who was sent to the court of Chandragupta Maurya, who was sent to the court of Chandragupta Maurya, and he was sent by Seleucus Nicator. Clear? We will make a chart. Greek ruler Seleucus Nicator sent his ambassador, and the name of the ambassador, Megasthenes. To the court of Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya. Let's read once again. A Greek ruler Seleucus Nicator sent his messenger, and the name of the messenger or ambassador was Megasthenes, to the court of Chandragupta Maurya. He was talking about the emperor. The emperor appears in public, are celebrated with grand royal processions, and the empire was very rich. Because he is carried in a golden palanquin and elephants decorated with gold and silver. Next, people enjoyed pomp and show. People enjoyed shows because a flock of trained parents circle about the head of the emperor, and the king is surrounded by armed women. City had strong, well-made house. Because it is a large and beautiful city, and it is surrounded by massive walls. It has 570 towers. It has 570 towers and 74 gates. The houses were of 2 or 3 stories, and these were built of wood and mud bricks. The emperor had to follow precautions to protect himself. Means about protection. The king is surrounded by armed women, and he is afraid that someone may try to kill him. He has special servants. Who taste the food before he eats, and he never sleeps in the same room for 2 nights. Proper planned cities and beautiful palace and improved craft. Beautiful palace and improved craft. The king's palace is also made up of wood and decorated with stone carvings. Stone carvings and the gardens and enclosures for keeping birds. Now let us study about our main topic, which is based on the chapter, that is Ashoka. Ashoka, a famous ruler. He was one of the greatest ruler who known to history, and he was the grandson of the Chandragupta Maurya. Ashoka was a famous ruler who known to history, and he was the grandson of the Chandragupta Maurya. He was the first ruler who tried to take his message to the people through inscriptions. Earlier we have read about inscriptions. Inscriptions were those carvings or writings which were written on hard surface. Clear, children? And Ashoka was the first ruler who tried to take his message to the people through inscriptions. Most of the inscriptions were in Prakrit language and were written in Brahmi script. Now, one thing more about Ashoka. Look at the note. Have you seen this note? The lions. Look at the note very carefully. This is 100 rupee note. The lions that we see on our notes. This is 50 rupee note. Again, the lions. Clear, children? Clear? Have you seen this? Lions on 50 rupee notes, on 100 rupee notes, as well as on 500, on 2000 rupee notes or 1000 rupee notes, as well as on coins also. Look at this. Seen? Lions. Have you seen this? Lions. The lions, now come to the topic. The lions that we see on our notes and coins were carved in stone and placed on massive stone pillars at Sarnath. By the Ashoka's orders. Inscriptions. Things that inscriptions we have taught about. Inscriptions were carvings or writings which were written on hard surface. Our next topic is things that troubled Ashoka. Things that troubled Ashoka. Ashoka took various steps for the welfare of the people, and the people lived a peaceful life. Topic is Ashoka War in Kalinga. Ashoka War in Kalinga. Kalinga is the ancient name of the coastal Odisha, is the ancient Kalinga, is the ancient name of coastal Odisha. Ashoka fought a war to conquer Kalinga, but he was horrified. By the violence caused by war. Then he decided not to fight any more wars. Ashoka is the only king in the history of the world who gave up conquest, that is the name of the chapter, okay, who gave up conquest after winning the war. Clear, children? Ashoka is the only king in the history of the world who gave up conquest after winning the war. Ashoka declared in one of his inscriptions that in this war 1,50,000 of the people were captured and 1,00,000 people were killed. And then he decided to observe Dham. Then he decided to observe Dham and then conquering them through force. Dham is the Prakrit word, is same from the Sanskrit word dharam. What is the difference between dham and dharam? Both meanings are same, but dham is a Prakrit word and dharam is a Sanskrit word, but they both are written in different languages. Now children, let us read about Ashoka Dham. What was Ashoka Dham? Ashoka Dham did not involve worship of a god or performance of a sacrifice. He felt that to instruct his subjects just as a father tries to teach his children. But some of the things that troubled but some of the things that troubled Ashoka. Number 1. People in the empire followed different religions. Number 2. Animals were sacrificed. Number 3. Slaves and servants were ill-treated. Quarrels in families and neighbors, and then Ashoka felt that it was his duty to solve these problems. So Ashoka appointed an important officials known as Dham Mahamatas. Then Ashoka appointed an important officials, Dham Mahamatas. Dham Mahamatas who went from place to place teaching people about Dham. Clear, children? And Ashoka got his messages inscribed on rocks and pillars. Rocks and pillars, and instructing his officials to read his message to those who could not read it themselves. Ashoka also sent his messengers to spread ideas about Dham to the other lands like Greece, Sri Lanka, and etc. And Ashoka built roads, wells, medical centers, for the welfare of the people. Ashoka used to care for everything which has life, because Ashoka adopted ahimsa, and according to ahimsa, Ashoka adopted that every living being means either animals or human beings. Every living beings are important, because Ashoka adopted ahimsa. Clear, children? Our next topic is Ashoka's messages to his subjects. Ashoka messages to his subjects. As Ashoka took many steps for the welfare of the people because they lived a peaceful life, Ashoka instructed his subjects to teach and to know about Buddhism. Only Buddhism to the people. Clear? Why? Because he wanted that being gentle with slaves and servants, respecting one's elders, treating all creatures with respectful, giving gifts to Brahmins and monks. Each one should respect the other religion. As you can see, Ashoka was a very wise ruler. So children, India's first Prime Minister. Who was the India's first Prime Minister? Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru believed that Ashoka's edicts or inscriptions were still relevant. Number 2, and we can learn a lot from them today. Lot of the teachings given by the teachings of Ashoka, and we have learned a lot of things from the teachings of the Ashoka today. So children, our next topic is sculpture. In this chapter, we will learn about the Rampurva bull. Rampurva bull is famous for the Mauryan Empire, a polished stone sculpture of a bull, and it was the part of the Mauryan pillar found in Rampurva, which is in Bihar. And has now been placed in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Rashtrapati Bhavan, and it is an example of the skill of the sculptors in the Mauryan Empire. Sculptors of the Mauryan Empire. So children, we have covered all the important concepts and points of the chapter number 7, Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. I hope you understood it. Thank you.